I'm non-binary.
If you are neither a man nor a woman, then what are—
Non-binary.
Dragon Age: The Veilguard is the best BioWare game in a long time. That hair is some of the best looking hair ever seen in a video game.
Do you like Dragon Age? Because I love Dragon Age. There was a time where if you asked me what my favorite game series was, I'd say it was Dragon Age. I even have over 3 playthroughs of the whole series under my belt. Back when I first started playing Dragon Age a long time ago, I was really into RPGs, and I was looking for one to just sink my teeth into. I don't remember how I first discovered Dragon Age Origins, but I remember what my first impression of that game was like. This world is incredible. These characters are incredible. This tone, this atmosphere, these companions are incredible. The story, the gameplay would draw me in some time later, but what was it that really hooked me in? The storytelling, the narrative, the world. You see, BioWare was able to create such a great setting because it was their setting. Dragon Age was their first original IP after years of making critically acclaimed Star Wars games, and they had to make it special. They succeeded. Not only was Origins a great game, it was a successful game. BioWare was becoming very successful. So much so that EA shows up. Then they want a piece of the BioWare pie. Actually, they just want the whole pie. And so they purchase BioWare and immediately begin pushing their expert business practices on BioWare's newest project, Dragon Age 2. Now, am I maybe suggesting that EA's influence actually wasn't a good thing for Dragon Age 2? That imposing a super tight deadline on the otherwise passionate, talented dev team seriously kneecapped them? Am I telling you that the final vision of just the narrative of Dragon Age 2's story and its characters barely survived the final cut? Am I telling you that? Yeah, I am. Unfortunately for Dragon Age 2, its narrative definitely survived well enough. It is despite EA that its storytelling, tone, and companions stay intact. The same cannot be said for the combat, or the level design, or the inventory management, or the loot, or the bosses, but don't worry, it doesn't end there. Seeing how considerately EA treated BioWare's latest great release, it's not surprising that much of the key developers of BioWare's team left. Core, passionate, talented developers at BioWare began to leave BioWare. So much so that by the time Dragon Age Inquisition makes headway in its development, that once impassioned and talented team is a Frankenstein amalgam of original BioWare people and EA-approved people. People that might not be quite so attached to Dragon Age, its story, or its characters.
Alright, next up we have Seb.
Daddy issues.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't even remember him. I don't remember much about him.
I don't remember.
By that very team's own statement, they have no idea how Inquisition launched in such a complete state. This team was clearly carried by the original BioWare talent that was still at the company. Not to mention that Inquisition's main competition that particular year in gaming was Shadow of Mordor and Mario Kart 8. That's it. It's unsurprising then that by the time that the next game begins its long, tortured development, all of the original BioWare staff gets cannibalized. No more survivors. And when I say that this game had a long and tortured development, I mean that it was cancelled. Dragon Age Dreadwolf was cancelled and never came back. Delay after delay after delay, and Dragon Age Dreadwolf dies quietly. And then EA sicks its necromancers on its cold body, raising it into something that wears Dragon Age's face as it shambles through the boulevard of broken gaming IPs. What name has this hideous, glitter-coated corpse been assigned as it decomposes before our very eyes? Veilguard. Now, I haven't actually played Veilguard. Maybe I never will. the only way I could ever find it in my conscience to willingly put myself through veilguard is if it was for making videos about it. That is to say, all that I do know about veilguard, I know from a voyeur's perspective, like a tourist watching the poop monkeys eat each other's shit at the zoo. Speaking of shit monkeys, veilguard. Hey, remember that epic mosaic website that they worked on just for Inquisition? A sprawling tapestry that chronicled each one of your personal characters throughout the entire Dragon Age series, made expressly to pin literally every major decision and most minor ones that each of your characters made in each of the 3 games? I know you do, and I do too. And you know what? It's actually not just fun to see all your decisions throughout all the games displayed in full. It's actually a big flex on Inquisition's behalf. For all of Inquisition's storytelling flaws, and there are many of those, this tapestry showed that this game, Inquisition, was going to, at the very least, acknowledge each of those past decisions in some way, that even in this game, they meant something. Oh, but I'm not talking about Inquisition anymore. I'm talking about veilguard. So, veilguard, it scraps the tapestry. Why? Developer team, would you not like to at least pretend to care what happened in those past games? The fact that each Dragon Age game was connected to the last somehow contributed to its identity as an ever-sprawling saga. Well, out with the old and with the new, I guess. So, if the old Dragon Age is out, then what does the new Dragon Age look like?
He, him, she, her, and they, them, and then your gender is man, woman, non-binary. Love that. Love the inclusivity. Top surgery scars are also included in this for all of our trans and non-binary rooks out there.
There is no bad guy option here in veilguard. There's only nice guy, there's nice guy who's a little bit more jokey, and nice guy who's like ever so slightly more stern. That's literally it. With the exception of one pivotal decision point, Rook cannot upset his team members in any meaningful way. In so many BioWare games and games like it, you could say some mean shit that would really piss off your companions, but here all you can do is offer support.
Oh, Tarsh isn't the first non-binary member of the Lords. It was a little before your time, but Horlicks was one of ours. Bastard looked better than I did in a dress or pants. And out of them too.
Yes, welcome to the new Dragon Age. We're not fighting dragons. We're fighting social issues. We're combating bigotry. We no longer make tough, interesting, and sometimes dark moral dilemmas. We have no need for moral dilemmas because we are the good guys.
You made Tarsh so happy, Rook. I saw the small knowing smile when she looked at you.
My only weakness, misgendering. Don't you just love it when your immersive RPG tells you, you have begun a romance. This is the desecration of Dragon Age. The social messages now mean more than the storytelling. And the storytelling was what gave Dragon Age its notoriety. It's what carried Dragon Age in its darkest days, and it's what elevates it in its peaks. You, under no circumstances, can sacrifice Dragon Age's storytelling before it soon begins bleeding life fast. Inquisition, with its lackluster storytelling, barely made it out of development by the skin of its teeth. It got lucky by the time frame in which it was released, and it also got lucky in finding a brand new audience of gamer girls, and yeah, that's real by the way, look it up. Again, Inquisition is a miracle story by its own team sentiment. This time, Dragon Age has nothing to save it. Veilguard can't even be saved by its gameplay, because now it just thinks its players are stupid.
Those 2 statues are the spare key. Line up the symbols.
What the hell is this? Actually, never mind. Let me tell you why Veilguard has not only killed Dragon Age, but will also drag BioWare down to the profaned Golden City with it. First off, all the talent is gone. Everyone, and I truly mean everyone, at this point who actually possessed talent or vision or harbored a genuine love of Dragon Age or Mass Effect for that matter, jumped ship or got ousted. They tried to bring They tried to bring the lead writer that made Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2 stories so good, memorable, dark, and enticing back after he left following Inquisition to assist with veilguard's narrative, literally the last employee that held within him any semblance of Dragon Age's soul. And guess what happened? Creative differences. He left, voluntarily, and will never be back. All the talent is gone. And the second reason why veilguard will drag down BioWare with it? Nobody trusts BioWare anymore. Remember Anthem? Holy shit! Anthem was a BioWare game. What was the last well-received game BioWare put out? Oh yeah, it was Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Modern day BioWare, literally, modern day BioWare's greatest contribution to the gamosphere is offering a bargain package deal of the games that the former crew made and then just adding femship to the first two. That's the best they've got. That's literally the best they've got. You're starting to see it? This game company that used to be the pride of Alberta, Canada. This game company that still has rich stories, unforgettable characters in its website slogan. This game company is absolutely cooked. And it's sad because no one is going to save it because it's owned by the worst game publisher on Mother Earth. BioWare is no longer BioWare. It's a reanimated corpse shambling through the boulevard of broken game developers. So, if you're a Dragon Age fan, where the hell do you go from here? Turns out that one of the reasons why veilguard is starred for success is because a little-known game called Baldur's Gate 3 already ate its lunch way before it released. Those developers over at Larian were inspired by Dragon Age, the OG Dragon Ages, and then ended up making the game that Dragon Age itself was perhaps destined to become if it had never been bought by Andrew Bond villain Wilson. So, if you're starving for some lovingly crafted RPG goodness, then just play Baldur's Gate 3. I don't know why I'm saying that, because if you're a Dragon Age fan, you already have played Baldur's Gate 3. I would know. Any time I would have spent playing veilguard, I've just spent playing another run of Baldur's Gate 3. I may never play veilguard. I'm a die-hard Dragon Age fan, and I may never play the latest game in what was once my favorite game franchise. The only way I would conceive of playing it is if it was so I could throw my experiences up in the form of some video. So for me, that's a coin toss. Because why would I willingly watch the shambling corpse of my once favorite game franchise when I could just play a different game instead? Thanks for watching.